Hey folks, Würfel here, and today on my project I will show you this corner here. Some of you might have seen already, this should be the corner of a gaming table, and they are totally right, this is the corner of a gaming table. No worries, I didn't put out a saw and started to cut this out of an existing table, no. This is a corner piece that Kapplex, who's the manufacturer of these tables, especially made for me for testing. I met them last year at Spiel and we came in a little talk and I put out one of my dice towers just to take a picture because I really like the appearance of the table. You might have seen this thing is completely made from plywood. So what drawed my attention was the plywood, to be honest. Some of you know that I really like plywood. My dice tray that I made for Christmas was plywood. The con carrier's plywood. I really like birch plywood. I'm not alone with that. So Adam Savage, if you ever see this video, I can share your emotions to the good old birch plywood. I took some pictures and we talked even more about my dice towers and the table, and so far these gaming tables are mostly considered for board gamers. But of course, a lot of folks asked for a version that could support more of the role players out there. So the question for accessories was quite huge. So they saw my tower, they really liked it, and I thought if we could work together and if I can make a dice tower for them to fit right in there. And of course, I said, sure, I can take a look with that. And they sent me this piece so I can twiggle around with the dimensions that I have. At Spiel, I had one of my glowing dice towers with me, and of course, I mean, what better thing can you get than a glowing dice tower sitting in the corner of your gaming table? So the first idea was we need something glowing sitting right there. Sadly, the space provided by this would lead to a solution that requires to make our own power supply and all that stuff, which needs a lot of electronics, which means you need to certify and make sure this stuff is safe. And so the solution to take parts and build something on your own is not a valid option in this. So I personally also like to work with power banks and just USB plugs to get them in. Have off-the-shelf parts that you just need to put into your dice towers and people can work with that and everything is safe to use. So I worked around a little bit with that first idea. We just scale this up a little bit. You can see the diameter is not big enough. A little bit of scaling and I got the first version. These are already sent to Kapplex, so I can't show you them now. But of course, they thought like this is great, it works pretty well, so we can continue on that. And one of the points that we continued on was the design. So they don't want to have my open spiral dice tower because this is my design. They want something on their own. So for that reason, I made this piece here. You can see the first time that I work with some surface texturing, these have bricks modeled in them. This is a fairly large tower. You see it fits right on there without any, whoop, let me push it down a little bit. It fits right on there. And it has a little special, and that you can see right here, this hole in the center. And this hole in the center is for this. This is an LED candle. Some of you might have seen these. And normally they go in restaurants and make a nice ambient lighting, and you have some covers going around them. And sometimes you even don't see that it is an LED candle. But these are very solid. They are completely enclosed and made for wireless charger where you can just set them in and everything's fine. And of course, as these are pretty standard pieces, the availability will be guaranteed for a long time. So this was a nice solution. They are compact, they are remote controllable, they are small, they are easy to handle. People can get them fairly easy, so we don't need to provide them. Very nice. And for that, I made a connector piece. and you just stick this in, give a little press, and then it sits right there. You can put it in there, and voila, there we have a glowing dice tower. What you can see now, it only glows about to this level here. So these are not powerful enough. Even with the open center hole here, they are not powerful enough to get the whole tower lit up fairly good. So maybe for a smaller tower, maybe for more of a candle-like ambience. So if you do something that is more going in an orange. Okay, the camera didn't catch it quite well enough. So this is a candle-like orange, believe me. Um, Maybe yes, this works. There's also a candle mode, so these flicker a little bit. So could be nice for ambient, but not quite what we were seeking for. So for the moment, we dumped the idea of LEDs. Let's put this aside. Before we go into this rabbit hole of LEDs and all that stuff, we came up with making it simple, making it workable. So we have this tower here. I made some changes, especially here at the door section. Maybe some little wing doors or something like that will be added. The diameter is matching the diameter of the hole over there, and for that reason, let me take this one here. You put the plug in, you have your dice tower, everything works as you like it. And you can see it works pretty well. Of course, I did a lot of testing to see what else can happen. You already saw it like here that the dice go at a weird angle, and sometimes this happens. They even can go up to there. So far, I never made it that one of them dropped over the border, but of course, you don't want to have your dice falling around everywhere. So you don't want them on the border, you don't want them here on this area, you want them sitting right down here. And of course, if you use a D20 or something like that, they will go all the way over the table, so you need something to hold them. So for the first, I came up with, of course, I think the simple solution, just adding a tray. Making a tray, it's pretty versatile because you can use this tray for other parts as well. So you always have the flexibility for people who don't want to use a dice tower, but they like the trays. Then you have the same trays, no special parts, everything is usable on its own. Of course, besides the regular shape, I also came up with something like that. As far as I'm aware of, I never saw any triangular shaped trays. In this case, it's only to hold one fence. Two fences more, and then you have a complete tray. You can add two of them together to have a rectangular tray, and you can put them on any border along the gaming table to have something like this. Could be something very usable. We will see when we do the first prototypes how they perform at the table. And of course, this helps a lot to keep your dice in an enclosed area. But this is not helping on the issue that the dice will land on the border over here. So for that reason, I came up with this. So for the other trays, you might have seen they are all right at the height of this level here. So you can leave the trays in and close it. With this solution, this is not working, but I think the visibility of these will be much better. Some fences might be added here, just to be sure, but so far from the optical appearance, this is one of my favorites. So I worked further on that one and the idea how I can improve this design. One thing that I had in mind, if someone has one of these dice towers sitting over there in the corner because it's mostly used in that area, but maybe another gamer wants to use it as well, then you pass over the dice tower and you pass over the tray. So you have to move two pieces. Also, if you go with something like this. And for sure you have like the final roll of the final battle against the boss monster, and you want to make it right in the center of the table, then of course this is not working. And I twiggled around a little bit and came up with another mock-up, and that is this one here. So let's put this and this aside. This goes to them. And this is pretty much the basic shape of the dice tray that I have for my open spiral dice tower. I just added a little bit of extra, and that are these two pieces. These two pieces make sure that they sit over there and you can't move them. So they don't get shoved from the table or so. But also, it makes it possible to use them on the table because everything's nice and flat. So you can pass the whole thing, of course, if you know how to use your dice, you can pass the whole thing to another player and he can use it wherever he wants. And of course it fits nice in the corner. So I worked on from that idea, and we came up with this. So this piece here, you can see it has the two shapes to go in there. And of course, you already guessed it, now I have plenty of space to work with a power bank again. So the cables will run here, the power bank will run here, and you can make a lit dice tower like the others that I already have. So LEDs are back in game, and you can see this is the whole thing, and this is how it works. Of course, you need to attach the tower to the tray to make sure you can move it in one piece. But let me show you. I, of course, made a prototype that exactly does this. It's already glued in, and you can see it's a transparent material. So yes, there are already LEDs installed. There's the power bank inside, and everything is nice. So you can see the cables run here, but there's no slot for the power bank anymore. No, as I took a closer look at this one here, I thought like, power bank, wasted space, wasted space. So I made this a usable storage solution. So now you have one big capacity to hold at least 2 sets of dice and a little space to hold the power bank. And now we can switch it on, put this piece in, and we have a nice glowing dice tower and everything together. So let me just push it down here so you can see it. And I give you a closer look of it. The stony texture. Okay, the camera has some struggle with this, but anyways, I think you get the idea of this. And of course, you can put it anywhere on the table, anyhow you like, and you can store your dice. So when you're not playing, you can just put one piece right into its resting position on the shelf or wherever you store your stuff. You don't have to move a lot of pieces. It's versatile at the table, and I hope this will be the thing we go for. Of course, not everyone is going for the full thing with LEDs and all that stuff, so there are plenty of options available. Just simply the tower on its own, a tray with all the stuff like storage and LEDs, maybe a version just with storage, a flat version that is just the tray and the tower. So you can have whatever you like. We are pretty flexible on that side. So that's what I really like on this design. We have plenty of options given from the same base. Let's wrap the whole thing up. This prototype here will go to Kapplex in the next weeks so they can test them and see how this works and how they like it. So you can see there is a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of work going into that, a lot of forth and back to come up with ideas, test them, play around with them, and see how it looks. Please let me know in the comments what you think about this, because normally I go on my projects for the needs that I have, and my needs might be not the same as the needs of others. So this time I definitely need to spread my view and see what else I might miss on something like that. So please let me know what you think of all the different things that I showed you here. So the single trays, the dice tower design, the concept, LEDs, no LEDs, storage, no storage whatsoever. Comment down below so I just get an idea of what I might have missed, what might be too much, what I need to change in general. Because this time I definitely want to make something that fits the needs of others and not my own. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you on the next video project that I want to share with you. And until that, happy dice making, happy printing, happy crafting, happy gaming, happy whatever you're doing in this weird times now. And I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.